We're at the end of the Maui to Molokai race. Finisher Mark Raphorst and showing off his new design 17.4 Bullet. It's the latest in the S.I.C family, and it's the next generation of hollow molded boards. So here's Mark to tell you about it.
The concept came from building a board for not ideal downwind conditions, more cross chop, like Kaiwi, like Maui to Molokai, or like a lot of places in the world. The F16 is really good. It's kind of like a Cadillac for all types of downwind conditions. Got plenty tail rocker, plenty nose rocker, but it's not always straight downwind in a lot of races and conditions. So we lowered the nose rocker, we extended it a bit, the lines, and we increased the volume by a smidgen more. The same deck contours as the F16, slightly concave to the deck, and dual plumb steering. We went with an all carbon construction, PVC, carbon on both sides of the PVC. Finish weight's 32 pounds.
So does this take the place of a F18, or is it somewhere in the middle?
Somewhere in the middle, yes. Yeah, the 18 is still good in light conditions, and but when it comes down to just surfing it, this is better control than the 18, the Bullet.
We had to move because the music was a little bit loud there. So tell me, what conditions would we use this Bullet versus the F16 version 2 or an F18?
If you had conditions that were slightly to your back and not straight at your back, and basically cutting across the grain of chop, then this runs better. Although it has less nose rocker, you can get into a bump easier, and the real winning factor of this board is that it slows down at a later pace than an F16. It glides longer. And yes, straight downwind, because it has less nose rocker, you do have to walk it back quite a bit more. But if you do poke, you have control over the poking when you stick the nose. It doesn't go left or right, and it's just a good open ocean board. And but it's a little bit trickier to ride than the F16, but it glides longer than the F16. The main difference between the 16 and the 17, or the Bullet, is that it glides longer.
So something like this is like in between an F18 and an F16.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. And it's a little bit more surfy. Has a little bit longer glide. Yeah, so it looks like we're in the middle. Because even in the nose, if we look at the nose, it's not that flat nose like on the bottom where the 16 is. You know, it's got this kind of it's still got a little bit of something in there, similar to kind of like the first generation one almost. Yeah.
Correct. But it's probably 4 to 5 inches less though than even the first generation F16.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
So for today's conditions in the Maui to Molokai,
it's good.
Perfect.
It's good. The bottom contour is pretty simple. Underneath your feet where you're standing, it's a single concave. It helps stability. It helps to prolong your glide, and it moves into a panel V. And then plenty undertuck for forgiveness when you get sideswept by waves. The undertuck's even more extreme than the 16, I would say. I like the real rounded undertuck for low speed type paddling. It's almost more canoe-like, where everything is rounded.
So you moved the rudder a little bit forward?
Yeah, we went from 26 down over to 31, I believe, just because the board's longer. It needs it. And the boards, I feel, are constructed real tough. I just added more carbon. I got away from the use of any fiberglass, and they're all PVC foam with carbon on both sides. Yeah.
So I know on this one, if it's a single concave, the bottom panel is quite a bit different than the F14 and the F16.
Correct.
And even the 18 has that double concave with almost a flat panel. So
yeah. So the 18, the 16 have these little panels off to the side. This one doesn't have that.
This one has smoother rails on the bottom too.
Correct. Yeah. A more extreme undercut in here. This area in here is a lot rounder.
So when the conditions get to higher winds, 20 miles per hour or so, then you'd move toward F16, or you'd still stay on this?
I would.
I
would.
But for milder conditions where you would normally take the 18, it could be between 18 and this one.
Yes.
Depending.
Correct.
Okay. And then you changed the tail a bit too, huh?
Yep. I just gave it a little chop tail, call it the chisel tail. Whether it does a lot for the function, a rounded pin or a chisel tail, I like the looks of it. Yep. Differentiate a little bit between the 16 and the 18s.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, we're here at the finish line with Livio Menelau. We're looking at the Bullet, 17.4 Bullet. And so tell us, how did you like this board versus last year riding F16?
This board is amazing. Yeah, it's really good. Yesterday we have a good crash meter board you're gonna use, and this morning might change right in the start. And I think if
you're deciding which board to use? Yeah.
Because I have the same one, but it's white, and they say no, get this one, and the board is really well. It's really, really good. Responded really well in the bumps. Good for the cross channel. I like it.
Because this is what you've been riding lately, right? The Nash race and the Maui to Molokai?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He won on the Nash race.
Yeah. It falls.
And then what's the difference? So all those conditions, even high winds, bigger bump, no problem?
No problem at all. The body is really awesome. Less nose rocker, like single concave.
Try not to get bit by those bugs.
Yeah, the bugs is going to try to beat me. But I really like the board. The board is awesome. Mark did a really good job. The most things really like.
Okay.
That's
Cool.
good.